week's Three Legs, Four Wheels F1 podcast. It's Paul here with
Sean,
Chris, and Lee.
We're back. Sorry about the last few weeks. Technical gremlins. Well, actually, technical gremlins that had got wet and been fed after midnight, judging by the amount of work that we had to do to repair things. Broken web server, broken laptop, and flu. That wasn't a gremlin, that was more a bug. But we're all fixed and back up and running just in time for an F1 season.
how convenient.
Yeah. Well, we've got some cars, which is essential. We've got some drivers who are already putting statements out saying they're not going to do well, so they're getting their excuses in early. And I think we've got testing this weekend as well, haven't we?
Next
Is
weekend.
it this weekend?
Is it next
It was
weekend?
next week.
Yeah, end of next week. So we're at the beginning of this week. It's almost 2 weeks away, depending on when you're listening to this.
Obviously. So we've had as of Monday, we've had 5 teams reveal the cars.
I think it
is
might
more
is it
now?
more than 5? Because who's still left? We've still got Ferrari, still got Mercedes, still got Alpine. Is there anyone else?
No, I think that's it.
No,
I think everybody's
I think
won.
it's
Yeah,
7.
so that's 7.
So the latest ones to come out today were the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo, and also,
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. Alfa Romeo was last week. That was one.
Yes.
That was one of the first.
The instantly forgettable Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, anonymous Sauber.
Do you think
No, I liked it.
I love it.
Yeah, I think it looks really cool.
I cannot remember what it looks like.
Black and red.
Marussia.
I mean, I will say that all it is last year's car, but the white bit's now black.
Fair enough.
But it looks really nice.
Yeah, I liked the Alfa Romeo livery. Let's just have a look at the car. What do we think of the AlphaTauri one? We've not spoken about that. It's
Underwhelming looking.
It's a bit Toro Rosso, do you not think, with the red highlights?
Yeah, it's.
They put out some renders of it, and it looked quite good in the renders. And then in the car, when you see the actual them stood next to the car, it looks just a bit dull and a bit boring. The renders have a lot more oomph to them.
Yeah, but don't forget the car is meant to be dull because they were launching the new clothing line at the same time.
Oh, they didn't want to steal focus.
Yeah,
I see.
Yeah, the clothing line's pretty dull as well.
Yeah.
I like the wheel. I like the wheel rims.
£75 for a beige T-shirt. Anyone?
No.
It's crazy, isn't it?
No, I'll pay 120 for a polo shirt with the AlphaTauri logo barely visible, thanks. But yeah, we've seen everyone, haven't we, now, apart from, as Sean rightfully said, Mercedes, Ferrari and Alpine.
Although Alpine did do a shakedown today, but they didn't allow any photographers. But as in true F1 form, photos have leaked, which I'm not much to find.
And to be fair, Red Bulls was a show car, and not actually the 2023.
Oh yeah, we've
car
seen
that
cars, but
they
we've
put
not
up on the-
necessarily seen the cars.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Haas livery on a render. We saw the Williams livery
that
on a
was
render,
rendered,
but now the Williams has actually made an appearance on track.
Yep, today in real life. Oh, today? Yesterday? In real life.
Yesterday, I think it was Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Williams seem to be talking up their chances a little bit.
Oh, no.
I mean, the question has to be asked there is why?
Backstanding so early.
Yeah, play
It's-
it down. Just play it down.
Yeah, it could, there's nothing's happened around Williams which would make you go, this year maybe. I mean, Haas as well. I expect Haas to be better this year.
God, I'd forgotten about Haas.
Williams might be in real trouble again.
Yeah, Haas had just I don't know.
Because they went first, didn't they? But it was just a livery launch.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah,
Nice.
very
The
difficult.
car looks nice.
It does, actually, yeah. Very stark contrast, white and black. But very difficult to see, and I don't know if that was on purpose, sort of what was going on around the floor area, because it was very dark black, and they put it very dark black on a very dark black floor.
Yeah.
Obviously, because it was a render, there was no actual light. It's just I can't see anything.
There was no
I think that
actual
was on
light, so that
purpose.
was a deliberate choice.
Yeah.
And then the actual Alfa Romeo launch didn't have the serrated floor that had been on the render, which everyone was calling Verstappen proofing. Because in the initial launch they'd gone for this really aggressive. It was like the Red Bull Mad Max floor from a couple of years ago, but more extreme. Yeah, more extreme than that, and more serrated. And then it turned up with what just looked like a smoothed up version of last year's on it.
Yeah, I mean, we won't really know what the cars are really going to look like until that test will be the one and only test that we've got at the end of next week. The 23rd, is it? Thursday the 22nd, Friday the 23rd.
That sounds about right.
And Saturday as well, they're doing a 3-dayer.
Oh, okay.
Is it? Okay.
I mean, to be honest, I think we'll still get a few surprises when we come to first race. I don't think it'll be, we will probably see a lot of new parts appearing.
I mean, these days, with the teams being as sort of secretive and as constantly developing as they are and not wanting to reveal anything too much, I don't think we'll actually get to see what the cars actually look like until Abu Dhabi.
Right, okay.
It's a controversial idea.
I definitely is getting to the point like where there's so much like cars launch and it's like, yeah, but we've got a big update coming, and it is getting to that thing that you don't really see what the cars what they wanted to put on the cars until like Spain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Until we get into Europe.
Which, if you go back to sort of late 90s, early noughties, a lot of teams ran last year's car for the first sort of batch of flyaway races, and you didn't really see that year's Challenger until the European season.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like, I can't remember which year it was, but McLaren were always going to launch their new car next week, and it never came out, and they ran the same one for 2 years.
That was 98, 99.
Yeah.
It was very, very, very similar car. They literally, I think they changed the barge board. Scarbs would be the person to ask about this. I think they changed the barge board and a little bit of the front wing over 2 years.
Gonna have to get in touch with Scarbs and see if it can come on post testing, because there's there's going to be a lot that will need explaining.
Yes, he will see things the rest of us do not.
And hopefully draw them to make it easier.
Yes.
One thing that has happened, McLaren are already getting their excuses in. They only launched this afternoon, and they've already said they're not happy with the car in the current spec.
Yeah, so I think specifically Andreas Stella has said that basically they have aerodynamic issues that are causing issues for the tyres, which is kind of big
It's not
problem.
ideal.
It's a big problem. But he thinks they will be able to develop out of said issue, so cool.
By Azerbaijan.
What's that? Is that like
Cool.
5 races, 6 races?
About that, yeah.
It's not
it's
great.
big changes at McLaren, though, isn't there? Really, no Daniel Ricciardo, no Andreas Seidel. I quite like Andreas Stella. I remember him being Alonso's race engineer at Ferrari, and then he moved. I don't know if he moved to McLaren with Alonso.
I think he did. I think he moved with Alonso a couple of times and has, I think, now obviously just stayed at McLaren.
Because I think he's finally realised that when Fernando makes a career move, it's not going to be good.
Poor Aston Martin, although they were talking up their chances today, so that probably bodes badly as well.
Well, Aston Martin were talking up their chances. Fernando was doing the exact opposite, and he's expecting difficult races at the start of the season.
Also, when did Lance Stroll become his dad?
Yeah.
Now, I didn't see any of the stream, but has he had a charisma bypass? I mean, there wasn't a great deal there to begin with.
He absolutely has.
I mean, yeah, I don't remember him being a character, but okay, if he's now.
Yeah, well,
less
no,
so.
exactly. You didn't remember him being a character. Now he's a standout non-character.
Amazing.
Wasn't that Ryan Reynolds movie? What was it? Free Guy.
Oh, I don't know.
I have
possibly.
absolutely no idea.
He was an NPC in a game, and then one day he realised, oh shit, I'm an NPC in a game. I've broken the game.
Right. So you're saying it's a Canadian issue?
I think it must be a Canadian thing. Oh God, what football team's Lance Stroll going to buy?
A really boring one by the sounds of it.
Oh great, York City then. Woo.
You'll rename them. Oh, actually, do you know what? A York City shirt with Aston Martin's sponsorship on the front.
To be honest, after the last time anyone connected with motor racing owned York City, it didn't end well. So it was John Top Gear from British Touring Cars.
Yeah.
Although the following season he renamed himself John B&Q when he got a different sponsor. Actually, fully changed his name, Deedpool and everything in the works, and then decided to change the name to York City Soccer Club so that he could market the team in America. I'm guessing he was ahead of his time. I just don't think he was Canadian and famous enough to do that.
Yes, yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, yes. So Lance Stroll is a non-character, and Alonso is expecting difficult races. Well, of course he is. It's Fernando.
It's Fernando's career, yeah.
During the launch, Aston Martin revealed their driver squad, they've called it, for this year.
Good lord.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've got the press release for that here, but yes.
Yeah, they have the Formula 2 world champion, Felipe Drugovich.
Yeah.
They have the Formula E world champion, Stoffel Van Dorn.
Cool.
Jessica Hawkins is there for, I think this is her third season as a development driver at Aston Martin.
And a team ambassador now.
And a team ambassador. And Pedro de la Rosa.
Good lord.
Good.
How
I'm glad
old
he's got a
is
home.
Pedro de la Rosa now?
175.
That doesn't feel like a huge exaggeration.
Hang on, let's have a look.
Crofty pointed out that when Jess Hawkins was 3, Pedro de la Rosa was testing a Formula 1 car at Silverstone.
And I don't think she's like young. I think she's
Pedro
mid-20s.
Pedro de la Rosa will be 52 in 11 days' time. So I think I'm entitled to say he's fairly young.
He must be so good at his job, mustn't he? You know, as far as
Yeah.
like tester and stuff and car development and things.
Yeah.
Like, he must be like properly one of the best.
And I don't mean to like verbatim tell you exactly how the launch went, but there was a hilarious moment in which you can see how this driver rivalry between Alonso and Stroll is going to develop into an awful car crash, actual car crash at some point.
Well, I mean, they had a practice one at Austin last year.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, child in audience asks a question, and he goes to Lance Stroll, "Who was your idol when you grew up?" Lance Stroll answered, "Michael Schumacher." And then had to follow it up after a brief silence with, obviously, you know, I remember watching Fernando fighting against Michael, but I'm not going to lie, I was cheering for Michael the whole time. And, you know, and just Alonso sort of shrugs his shoulders and sort of says, yeah, fair enough. You know, I've heard all this before.
Mm-hmm.
And then, then Crofty says to the little kid, "Who's your idol?" And he goes, "My idol's Fernando Alonso." Dude, Alonso just turns around and points at Lance Stroll.
Oh, this
So,
is
yeah, that's gonna-
this
it's
is
gonna
not
become
going
one
to
of
go
those.
well.
No, I mean, we did you hear that Alonso said that Stroll is a potential world champion?
Yes, and I think I know a few people on our Discord server that haven't actually stopped laughing yet.
I mean, he's a potential world champion in that
If 19
anybody
others
who enters
crash.
Formula One. No, I mean, anybody who enters Formula One is a potential world champion.
Uh-huh.
If he is a potential world champion, it says more about the whole driver car conversation, doesn't it, than anything else?
Yeah, something tells me that's something Alonso has said because he remembers who's paying him.
Yeah,
Perhaps.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's going to look like a potential world champion when Alonso's bloody 4 or 5 seconds down the road from him all the time.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how he does, because he did okay against Vettel last year, but I mean, how checked out was Vettel from the beginning of the season?
This is his first proper teammate, isn't it? Like, first proper test, really.
I guess so.
You know, it's because
yes.
Vettel wasn't Vettel, was he? He was just
No, he wasn't.
He was broken Vettel.
Yeah, he was. I'm going to save the planet, Vettel,
So
which we all love. That's fantastic, but at the same time, isn't the competitive multi-21 Seb that he probably needed to be.
Yeah, I think he's going to. I think Alonso will just maul him, to be perfectly honest. Which he's probably a good teammate for Alonso, to be honest, because he'll just be away from him, you know, and Alonso will just do that thing he does where he like drags a car by the scruff of its neck for a whole race, and you know by the end of it, not only has he got the car where it should be, it's probably about 3 places higher than it should be.
And away from him is the safest place to be when the person you're talking about is Lance Stroll.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's one thing I didn't check about the Aston Martin. How big are the mirrors?
Doesn't matter
Yeah.
if it's Lance Stroll. Ain't using them.
Have they actually bothered? They have bothered to put some on.
To be fair, I think they are actually a requirement. Just because the driver doesn't use them, I don't think it means you can rip them off.
It'd be interesting to know how inside Aston Martin, like, it's okay either like Alonso playing it down and Aston Martin's like being quite quietly confident about what they're going to do. But the amount of money that's going into that car and into that team now, there must be some internal pressure in there saying like we need to do something now.
There's a good amount of sponsorship on it, having a Skeet.
Well, yeah, because I mean they've also launched the new factory at Silverstone.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't think that comes online though, does it? That doesn't come online until like August.
No, the
Something
launch
like that.
was the launch was at the new building, but it's not I think Rachel Brooks used the term it's not operational. I was like, oh, I've heard that somewhere before.
This factory is non-operational.
This factory is fully operational.
Oh no, sorry. I was in at the driving mode then.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
No, I was thinking of obviously.
No, it was Mars Volta, wasn't it?
No.
Oh, no,
that's a
sorry.
relationship of command.
Sorry. The Mars Volta one was this appliance must be unearthed. I mean, it's the same same two musicians and a very similar concept.
Yes.
You can
Very similar.
you can see where I got my confusion from.
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yeah. There was no Gary Barlow and Slipknot mistakes.
No. On a sidetrack, the band that I'm in and will be playing with on Friday has garnered some a nickname by the local punk scene as the Manx Mars Volta.
I would take that as a massive compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Mars Volta.
I thought you were going to say that
Everybody go and listen to the Mars Volta.
I thought you were going to say that the band you were in has been compared to Gary Barlow and Slipknot at the same time.
How can we do a Gary Barlow Slipknot mashup?
Badly, I would assume.
Yeah.
So yes, the factory is due. Phase 1 of the factory is due to be completed in the spring. And the second and third phases of the build, which comprise the wind tunnel, simulator, and exhibition space, are set for completion at the end of 2024.
Right, so the bits you actually want then. Exhibition space aside, but like wind tunnel and simulator is fairly
Yeah,
useful.
yeah. So they're still going to be borrowing a wind tunnel for the next 2 seasons. And I'm assuming they're using their old simulator. Or nipping down the road and borrowing Mercedes, which they've been known to do for the last couple of years.
Yes.
Now they're making a big splash about the new factory. It's the first all-new Formula One building for almost 20 years.
Well, yeah, because I assume once you build one, you don't build another one for like at least 20 years. You don't. They're yeah. It's like, oh, new season, new building.
Oh, back in the olden days, in the 50s and 60s, you know, cars were built in sheds in people's back gardens, so there'd be a new one springing up every week if they had to build a new car.
Wasn't McLaren originally in the middle of Woking somewhere?
Yeah, it was in a garage.
Toro Rosso
Yeah,
did have a
it-
random sort of industrial unit somewhere in the UK, didn't they, at one point? In addition
Caterham
to...
was run from an industrial estate.
Manor, they were on an industrial unit in Sheffield.
Yeah, exactly. So they weren't building their buildings for like 20-odd years because they probably knew they weren't going to last that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Oh,
just
and
rented them, yeah.
and the original Tyrrell shed. Somebody's trying to restore it and get it listed building status at the minute.
Ah, that's fun.
I read that article somewhere the other day, and it's like, yeah, I mean, Ken Tyrrell started in a shed, a literal wooden shed.
There is a documentary somewhere to watch as well, which I can't remember the name of it, which doesn't help, or exactly which car it's about. But it is the Lotus 49.
Can you remember what
and
streaming platform this may be on?
It was on, I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Okay, that narrows it down.
And it was It was about, I think it was an ex Graham Hill Lotus 49, and it was found buried under a load of furniture in a shed, and it was obviously it was a bit dirty when they actually got to it, and these guys like turned up and they were like, "You are joking? This is actually genuinely, a Lotus Formula One car." And they started it up, and the dust in the garage apparently was so bad that nobody could stay in the garage. It still started up after all that time.
Wow.
But yeah, it's a fascinating watch as a guy. I think it's the one that you see at Goodwood all the time because it's been restored back to its former glory. So when you see a Lotus 49 and it's a genuine Lotus 49, it's probably that one. That they found it in some guy's garage. He was just like, "All right, yeah, so we're finished with the cars for this year. Then I'll just have one of these if that's all right. Just to keep it in my garage." Imagine doing that now.
Bloody hell!
Like I work at Red Bull. Not doing anything with Max's car, are you? I'll just take it home.
Yeah, I'm stunned by that. One of the big pieces.
I can hear an aeroplane.
Yeah.
Who's on a flight?
Oh,
Which one of us is taking a flight right now?
I can't hear an aeroplane.
So it must be you.
Did anyone else hear that?
I heard a whistle. I'm
yeah,
not on a plane. At least I don't think I'm on a plane.
I have not heard whistling or aeroplaning.
No,
It's a jet engine. I can hear a jet engine.
Are you about to be crashed into?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Oh, no.
That was a vape.
I'm going to have a look on Flight Radar, see if any of us have got, someone flying
I'm literally
overhead.
doing the same.
I was going to say the other big F1 story of the week, of course, is that the current head of the FIA is now taking a step back from direct involvement in Formula One.
Oh, yes. I forgot about this. Now, this is stupid. Does anybody else agree that this is like one of the worst things ever? Because if the leader, sorry, it sounds like he's like, follow the leader. If the head of the FIA has decided he's not going to get that involved with Formula One, should he really be the head of the FIA? Now, I know that the FIA oversees many, many, many forms of motorsport.
And not just motorsport. They are sort of the world go-to on car safety, road safety.
Yeah, all initiatives that have been put forward because of their involvement with motorsport.
Yeah.
But what I can't understand is, you never get this in any other sport. Imagine if you had like the head of the Football Association, the FA in England, for example, and he was like, "I've pissed off quite a few Premier League teams, so I'm not going to get myself involved with that anymore." Well, hang on a second. I understand it, but at the same time, that's your main draw. What are you doing? What are you the head of if you're not the head of that?
Yeah, it's a bit odd. I mean, he's been fairly controversial since he came in, and the directive. What was it last week where F1 drivers now have to seek FIA permission to make any personal statements,
which has gone down like cold piss amongst some of them. K-Mag has been particularly... He's had some personal statements to make about it.
Of all the drivers to ask for a personal statement on this...
we need a rounded, well-balanced opinion on this. What do you think, Mr. Magnussen?
Hang on a second. Is Lewis not available? No? Go get Kevin.
Yeah.
I don't know that anyone asked him. I think he just offered it, to be fair.
Nah. This makes more sense. Someone picking up the phone and say, "Where's that rounded, well-oiled media machine gone?"
I mean, even Lando Norris, who isn't in the slightest bit controversial in any way whatsoever, has said he's prepared to defy the ban on it. And I can't remember Lando saying anything controversial at all.
But he had the option to. I think that's probably his grievance there. And when you sort of take that choice away, it's...
Yeah, the only thing going back to our Discord community, the only thing that anyone can come up with that he might actually say that's controversial is Avatar: The Last Airbender counts as anime.
No.
But Christian Horner, I don't know if anybody saw this because I commented on an article and I did get a few likes from our listeners on it. Christian Horner said that sport should never be used as a political tool. To which I responded, and yet here he is.
The biggest political toolsmith in the fucking paddock.
Because it didn't they host Boris Johnson at the Red Bull factory when he wanted to do some?
It shouldn't be used as a political tool, Sean.
That was just a coincidence.
He was just using some tools, non-political, to change a tire.
Yeah.
Excellent.
The tool was Boris.
Yes.
Boris Johnson wanted a loan.
And if he did a little bit of Saturday work for him, they might, throw him a bit of extra cash.
Unlikely.
You
never know.
That's the thing. I mean, music and sport end up intrinsically linked with politics because they have people taking part in them, and people have opinions.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, we throw weight, don't we, behind any people we support. You throw weight behind their opinions on things that they probably do. They probably don't even have well-versed opinions on.
yeah, I mean, you get listeners.
So do you.
But that's the thing, regardless of the sport you're in or the band you're in, you're gonna have your own thoughts and feelings,
mm-hmm.
and to be told when you've got a global platform that you're not allowed to share them in any way, state or form. I just can't see that working.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the only thing would be people can promote like things that they feel like passionately about, or take Sebastian Vettel for instance, and the climate change stuff. I can't see them stopping people supporting causes they want to, but there is that squirrely line of using the sport as your platform. Your platform is like Sebastian's platform is being Sebastian Vettel. So he can do whatever he wants on that particular platform, but then to use Formula One, which is it's not like a single opinion. It's a multitude of people with a multitude of different ideas and cultures and beliefs. Maybe that's not the best thing, is to use the sport as a platform. But obviously, the people are very powerful and they have the ears of millions. So that power and reach is still there. So I don't think there's anything sort of intrinsically wrong with that.
I mean, some might say the Honda New Earth dream car, was that deliberately sabotaged just so that Honda didn't get their ecological message across? Oh, well, Honda just shit that year.
I think
Honda was just shit that year.
You've answered your own question.
Yeah.
We were chatting earlier, weren't we, about this year's cars? We've been told to expect a lot of dull and dark colours because they're a lot lighter than the bright colours that we've seen in recent years. But they've got Aston Martin has gone green, but obviously it's a little bit black below that. Below that, should we call it the waistline? There's a bit of extra black on the Aston Martin. There's, you've got. I've totally forgot where I was going to go with this, but you've got all these cars that are going to be. Yeah, does somebody else want to take over?
I don't know what point you're trying to make at this point, to be honest.
I've forgotten what point we were
so
on.
It's to do with paint.
It's about all the cars not being painted. Funnily enough, only 3 minutes ago, just seen.
Oh no! There we go. I just remembered.
Just seen a tweet from Keith
no.
Collantine. Just to leap in, and predictably enough, a hue and cry now goes up on social media that the FIA now needs to step in and regulate that F1 teams must paint their cars. To which he thinks not everything can be solved with yet more rules.
No,
because
you. Sorry, go on. I was going to say you'll get cars with clear paint.
See-through cars.
No, that would be
No,
interesting.
you'll see the carbon fiber, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But, no, what I was going to say was we were talking about the cars that have made themselves lighter by changing their paint colors in the past. It's a long run discussion on this podcast. When Jordan decided that gold was too heavy, so they switched to yellow, and they were exactly where they were when they switched from gold to yellow. Or when, like Lee pointed out, when Jaguar went from shiny green to light green. Wait, they were exactly where they were before they changed paint.
If not slightly worse.
Yeah, if not slightly worse. I admire the fact that everything is to the nth degree in Formula One, and that's one of the things that makes it so fascinating.
I mean, to quantify this, what we'll have to do is get Statman on to explain how much time is gained or lost on track by the undercoat. That was the one. That was the one that I was saving. That was the one that I was saving from the chat earlier that I decided not to use because I thought that was the joke.
It was good. But was it not something like 1/10 of a second a lap or something that Jordan said that they were losing with that flaky paint that they had?
Yeah, they said it was something like that, and as it turned out, it wasn't.
I just don't think it matters that much. You know what I mean? Yes, of course you save weight any way you can, but when it comes to something like that, it just to me it's just just build a better car. Just make your car fast and then worry about the paint afterwards.
Yeah. I suppose it's an easy win, isn't it? Because it's obvious any weight reduction is going to help somewhere, and it's just it's that's like 2 grams lighter. Well, okay, we might as well save those grams.
Yeah, I mean by the end of last season, I think the McLaren was more black than orange on there, and they appear to have gone the same way this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's a nice car. It does. I was looking at pictures of it. It does look nice.
Don't get me wrong. I mean, there hasn't been a bad looking McLaren aesthetically. No, I think that's it. There hasn't been a bad looking McLaren.
I think this is. I don't like. It's too much black on this McLaren. There was too much black on it. I thought towards the end of last year, but I'm not Zach Brown. It's not my job.
You're not a guy sat in weighing cans of paint.
Exactly, yeah.
But we'll get to see how they perform over the coming weeks. Obviously, as we know, testing means bugger all, and we don't actually get to see the car's performance until qualifying, really, in the first race. But if you think you know how well everyone's going to do this year, we will be running Fantasy F1 alongside the Prediction League again this season. Haven't decided on the platform yet, but I'm looking. But we'll be doing a Fantasy F1 season, and I think are we all going to try and put teams in this year and try and remember that we're doing it?
I was going to say there's a difference between putting in a team and actually actively managing it.
Yeah,
I will probably do a team and then probably promptly forget.
Yeah, but we will be doing the Predictions League again this year because that always causes contention amongst us. Usually for the bold predictions, and if anyone goes on holiday without telling us that what the predictions are in advance,
then they get what they're given.
I run my fantasy Formula One league team like exactly the same way every year, which is if I don't get it right before the first race, tough. That's what I chose. I'm sticking with it.
You trust the process. It will come good.
No, it never has. But, it's always interesting when you get to the end of the season because it's a good look back and you could be like, wow, I thought Tsunoda was going to be good this year. But yeah, it's just one of those things.
But yeah, I'll be sharing links to that as soon as I've got that sorted out, which should be in the next week or so. Have we got anything else, or is this going to be one of these really short pre-season-y kind of shows?
It's a pre-season show, isn't it?
But it is.
Does anybody got anything? Let's have a quick look at Formula One.
Else, but I'm Googling frantically to see.
Content!
Yeah,
this is to talk about.
This is how we put these together. I've still got.
I've just seen Lando Norris's excuse from the launch earlier. Hey, when did Jack Daniels sneak onto the McLaren?
Oh, is that new for this year?
I don't know, but I'm now suddenly interested in buying more I was going to say Jack Daniels merch, but McLaren merch if there's going to be JD on there.
Will that be one that has to disappear for about half the races, though, because there's dry races
It will.
advertising restrictions and whatnot?
I mean, it's not a big portion of it. But yeah, Lando Norris, I'm just reading from the BBC website here. Lando Norris says he has the patience to wait for McLaren to rebuild themselves into a championship winning team in Formula One. Oh dear, that means he's
gone. That means he's already negotiating with Audi.
Yeah, Andrew Seidel's already on it. Yeah.
I do feel bad, like for Lando, the way McLaren seems to have staggered, because I don't think there's many people on the grid that could do the job he's doing in that car.
I watched a YouTube video from one of our competitors, The Race, and they put on this thing about who did the best job out of the drivers last year, and it's widely regarded apparently in Formula One circles that the McLaren last year was ridiculously difficult to drive, and most drivers would probably have had the same problems that Daniel Ricciardo had, which is why he got so much sympathy in the paddock. But at the same time, Lando Norris got a lot of admiration because he managed to adapt his driving style throughout the season to make it work for him.
Yeah.
So,
I think I watched that very same video.
Yeah, and there was I'm trying to remember who else they said was pretty good. Kevin Magnussen, I think they said as well, for obviously his return in the Haas.
Mm-hmm.
It's whether or not these drivers like Kevin Magnussen. How many false dawns has Kevin Magnussen had now? But it'd be so good if he could carry it on, wouldn't it?
Having more and more false dawns.
No, if he could actually, his false dawn actually became real, and he had his day in the sun, as in a car that could consistently score, let's just say, points.
Yeah, because went to McLaren just as they lost it.
Yeah, podium on debut, and then that was that.
Yeah.
The FIA has launched the application process for new F1 teams. That's happened since we last talked.
Yeah, that's one thing that we haven't mentioned.
Yeah, but it's a £200,000 entry fee.
Well, the fight. Well, I won't say the fight, but the arguments between Domenicali and Andretti.
Yes,
because Domenicali appears to be slagging Andretti off.
I think Andretti may have started it. And then Domenicali.
Andretti started it, didn't he? Yeah. And Domenicali tried to quell it by just saying, yeah, maybe not smart to call us greedy if you want to join the sport. And I think that's reasonable.
Yeah. I mean, are Andretti asking for more respect than they've got? But, I mean, they're prepared to put up the money. But I think it comes down to the existing teams who don't want to give up a share of TV money, prize money, logistics money.
Yeah.
And I think the teams are saying the 200 million isn't enough from a new team. So I can see where Andretti's greedy comment is coming from. Because I mean they've got a background in American series for the most part.
Yeah,
obviously
of course,
they're in Formula E. And the entry fee isn't that ridiculous in all those. I mean, I think for I'll probably get flamed for this one, but I think for IndyCar the entry fee is buy a car, turn up, and if you qualify, you get to race.
I think you can do IndyCar on a fairly low budget, like Juncos or however you say it. They're always usually on sort of pretty much as you say. They just turn up and hope for the best.
Yeah, and same with NASCAR as well. The Danny Kvyat entry is I think I saw somebody call it a grid filler.
Oh, and to be fair, that's one of the more polite things that's been said about Daniel Kvyat, I would suggest.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, but don't forget that Formula One made changes was it 97 they made the changes to stop teams and drivers like that being in Formula One, because too many people were buying, just paying their way into Formula One, or okay, well, I'll just buy this old car from like 2 years ago, this old footwork, and reshape a couple of bits for this year's rules. And oh, look, I'm in Formula One, everyone. It got really silly at one point, which is why they had to make the decision to. What was it? 1988 was the last year where we had so many teams that you had to have pre-qualifying.
Yeah, and then they got rid of it. I think they got rid of it halfway through the year because some of the teams actually went bust.
Exactly. You don't want that. We don't want teams going bust, and we don't want teams running into the ground like the three who joined in 2010 ran into the ground before the decade was out. Just complete non-existence of the three teams. Haas proved that the right way to do it is to be a parts bin, buyer essentially from a manufacturer. They did it the right way.
I think that has proven though that it seems to give a ceiling though, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a sustainable way to enter, but I think there comes a point where you have to then
not a
start
long
taking
term.
that back on board. You can't buy in forever.
Yeah, it's not a long-term thing, is it? You've got to be able to start developing your own things eventually. 200 million is a lot to enter Formula One, but even like the applications, if you want to apply just to get heard, you have to pay 200,000.
I suppose, again, that comes down to sort of proving that you have that funds available to you, that you're not just sort of going to chance your arm a bit. You have serious backing to actually fund your team.
Well, I guess so, but I mean, it's quite a lot to apply for. Well, in my life, it's quite a lot for people to apply for, and for them to just turn around and go, nah.
I think it's probably,
yeah.
I think Andretti can probably afford it.
In which case, can I have 200 grand, please?
Instead of spending that family home on a meeting, could I have the home?
Yeah, I mean the whole Andretti thing. This is going to be a constant argument, I think, all year. And I think heads need battering together.
It does seem like the Andretti thing.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like if you're going to have a new team join Formula One, and that new team isn't like an out and out manufacturer, like VW wants to come in or something like that, then this is surely the best option. You're not going to get many more situations that are better than this one.
Mm-hmm.
No, I want to see Andretti in Formula One. I said it when we did our last podcast. I think, just what's the problem? Just get it sorted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, allow them to do it. And if Andretti falls flat on its arse in Formula One, it's Andretti that's going to look bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean they can't say, "Oh, we let you in." Don't make us look stupid for doing it. It's like, well,
yeah,
build a good car that's capable of challenging for points in your first season. And no team's stupid enough to do what BAR claimed that they were going to do in '99.
No.
Win the championship in their first year
after winning their first race from pole.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, they were way off that.
I think they were about as far off as you could get.
Yeah, it wasn't ideal.
It took a Honda buyout before they were any decent. But
and even then, they were the third best team for a year or two.
I mean, it took Honda selling up to actually win them the first title. Oh, of course, there's a cat going in the litter tray. There might be a pause in a second. Yeah, it'd be good.
This could be the end of the podcast quite abruptly.
Yeah. So wrap it up quickly.
Yeah. So yeah, it would be good to see Andretti in F1. It would be good to see more teams on the grid because, half the grid getting points in every race, it's getting a bit participation-y.
I do want to see some more we'll see more teams at races. Yeah, there are problems with that. Apparently, there's not enough garages at some circuits for all the teams. But don't teams take up 3 garages at most races, and the ones where there's a shortage,
It seems workable.
There's usually a couple
Yeah.
of garages for the safety car as well, and I'm sure they could quite easily rejig.
Just park outside.
Yeah, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
What,
what,
Ruth?
what was it when they were doing the promotion for Cars 3? They had an entire garage for Lightning McQueen.
Yeah, I'm sure most paddocks could be adjusted fairly comfortably.
I mean, you could really come down hard on the new teams and go old school at the same time. Don't give them a garage, give them a shed.
A gazebo.
If it was good, if it was good enough for Ken Tyrrell and Bruce McLaren.
I feel this doesn't sound like the road to success. The road to success is barely paved with good sheds.
Why does that sound like it should be the title of an album? That's my next indie album title. Yeah, I think that's probably about it. Shall we do another one of these next week? Because they're quite fun, aren't they?
Yes.
Seems a good idea.
Yeah, and tell you what, as the season's starting, we'll do more then.
Do you think next week we'll be talking about the black Ferrari?
There's a question. Have Ferrari ever raced in anything that wasn't red?
Yes, in 1961. They raced as white and blue.
It was scarlet.
No. They raced as white and. Let me just do a quick Google on this. But they raced in white and blue as a protest for something.
The colour red. Were they protesting the colour red?
The red paint was too heavy.
No.
I take a yellow. I take a yellow Ferrari.
That'd be fun.
I mean, you do see yellow Ferraris in
yes,
GT racing.
It's one of their regular colours. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. It's from the official Formula One site here. From 2015, this article is from. Do you remember when Ferrari raced in white and blue? It was in a fit of rage that Enzo Ferrari abandoned Ferrari red. It was 64. My apologies. I was 3 years out. Swearing that his team would never again race in Italy's national colours. His threat would prove short-lived. So Ferrari haven't changed at all then. For the final two races of that season, they raced in white and blue. It was bad blood between Ferrari, the FIA, and in Italy's national motorsport body.
Oh, I thought they were just protesting against the colour that always comes out every time they shoot themselves in the foot.
So I'm just having a quick scan to see exactly what it was. So Watkins Glen, there was no Works Ferrari entered. So they actually entered as a North American racing team. John Surtees and Lorenzo Bandini driving Ferraris entered as a North American racing team. NART. That's what they're actually called.
NART is an amazing
NART.
acronym.
So basically, it looks like Ferrari fell out with the Italian motorsport body and decided to become American for the last two races of the '64 season.
Wonderful.
God. I mean that is a very Ferrari-esque move, isn't it? Foot stamping, ball taking home, threat that lasts precisely a fortnight.
We're American now.
Bloody hell. Talking of American racing, if anybody wants a laugh, I will be doing the iRacing Daytona 500 in a NASCAR this weekend.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
I'll be streaming it on Twitch, and I'll share the link on the socials. And I think it'll be it's on the website somewhere as well. So I think it's twitch.tv/3legs4wheels. I'll put up what time I'm doing my session, but I think it's going to be Saturday morning. So if anybody wants to laugh, come and have a watch of me doing that, and see if I can last longer than the 73 laps that I managed last time before I got involved in somebody else's crash. I was actually in 8th place when I got taken out by a lapped car.
Oh.
And you probably noticed I don't take the piss out of NASCAR as much these days, because since I started sim racing, it takes a lot of work to drive an oval.
Yeah.
You do actually have to think.
Yeah, you probably do.
Yeah, it's not just put your foot down, turn the wheel to a certain angle, and let go. So yeah, come and have a laugh at me doing that. Join in the chat, and obviously we'll be on Discord as well. If you want a link to that, that is definitely on the links page on the website. Couple of messages. Get well soon, Gemma. Got COVID for the 3rd time.
Yes.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
So she
nobody wants that.
Sent us a message saying she needs something to listen to while she's working from home this week.
Get well soon.
And she's got 2 shows to listen to because we did an extra show for our patrons this week. And if you want to get the extra show, get the F1 show a little bit earlier, just go to patreon.com/3legs4wheels and donate anything from one of your local currencies. I'm still trying to find the best way to say that.
One money.
1
Yeah.
yen.
Yeah. Donate a money every month, and you will get extra shows and early shows and no adverts.
Yes.
If you want to get in touch old school, then it's 3legs4wheels@gmail.com, and we're at 3legs4wheels on all the socials. And individually on Twitter we are...
At Sean Cowper.
At Flood21.
And at Must See Audio.
You've changed. And I'm at Pablo100. That's about it for this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think so.
Yeah. Right, we will dig up some news for next week, have a look at the last 3 car launches, and see where we are. We've got a full grid to compare it all against.
So we got Ferrari tomorrow,
Yep.
Mercedes the following day.
Yes.
And Alpine on Thursday.
Yes.
Okay, so nobody's actually doing the launch at testing. Interesting.
We've had a few that are livery only so far, haven't we? So there might be some actual physical car unveiling.
Well, look forward to it.
Yes.
No, it'll be good. It'll be good to see real cars, and next week it'll be good to see actual cars running on an actual circuit with actual drivers. Hopefully by next week we'll get to know the testing lineups as well. Right, we will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.